Howdy folks, welcome to episode 10 of Bonfire Man. Okay, here's how Bonfire Man works. I'm locked to specific chunks in the game. I have to interact with everything in my unlocked chunks exactly once. So that means every tree needs to be chopped, every enemy needs to die, every resource needs to be consumed. When I interact with something, it is exhausted. When something is exhausted, I'm not allowed to interact with it again. I'm allowed to randomly unlock a new chunk whenever all of the entities in my current chunks have been exhausted. When I enter a new chunk, I rest at a bonfire, as in the Souls games. Resting at a bonfire unexhausts all of the content in previous chunks that I've already been to. Now I have to exhaust all entities in both the new and old chunks to continue to progress. My objective is to unlock every chunk in RuneScape eventually. All minor rules and exceptions can be found in a Google Doc that I'll link in the description of this video. Let's go ahead and get to the playthrough. Alright, so today we've unlocked the Lumbridge Swamp East, which you can actually see behind me. I think this is one of the last locked chunks you can see from the top of Lumbridge. There's also the farm chunk with the windmill. So we're going to go scope that out. I've loaded up the tasks that we have over here on the right. We need to slay 17 more frogs, 15 more big frogs, 3 giant frogs, 14 giant rats. I'm excited about I'm not excited about any of these. Killing rats sucks, and frogs sucks, because they have no drops that are interesting. However, a lot of these wander into the chunk that I already had unlocked, so it's going to be a lot cleaner now for me to clear both of those swamp chunks at once. I will be able to mine both the copper and the tin. I'll be able to fish the shrimp, and that's a lot of fishing XP for me. There's not that many trees, thankfully. Only 14. If it wasn't for these 2 agility objectives, I would actually be able to clear this chunk today. Hey, it's Future Marstead again. I think I mentioned this earlier, but this is a mistake. The 2 agility shortcuts in this chunk don't actually generate any experience points, and so they're not really exhaustible. That means it doesn't count toward chunk completion either. So technically, as of this episode, I should have been able to 100% complete this chunk. And if you'll recall from an earlier ramble, when I 100% complete a chunk, that means that I can start depleting nodes in that chunk. So if there's like an oak tree in a 100% completed chunk, I can chop that tree until it is chopped down and turns into a stump. I'm also allowed to skip things in 100% completed chunks, because if I don't allow for that rule, then this is not going to be feasible for a person to complete in a human lifetime. So anyway, this was a mistake. I just assumed that one or both of these agility shortcuts awarded XP, particularly the one that requires a mithril grapple, but neither of them do. Neither of them should have counted. I should have been able to complete this chunk right away, and that meant that I should have been able to then start fishing the shrimp nodes in that chunk to depletion every single cycle, which would have been an enormous amount of additional fishing XP. I also could have skipped all the frogs and rats, but hey, I made the mistake. I missed out on the XP. It's in the past. It'll get corrected eventually, but for now you're going to see me clear this chunk every episode for several more episodes. Anyway, back to it. But I cannot. And I will explain what this is about in a second. We also are going to get to do our first ever quest, Mistalin Mystery, and it's actually super relevant because we're just barely going to be able to hit level 10 crafting, I think, today, which will let us finally make a bronze crossbow, which will finally let us start training range. So without further ado, let me go ahead and grab my tinderbox and logs. Let's go through the fog door and light a bonfire. All right, here we are at the boundary. Let me officially start the clock for chunk 13 and chunks 1 through 12. And let's cross the threshold here. Nice. All right, and I'm going to light my fire. Very nice. Bonfire lit. And of course, as always, we can't sit, so we must spin. Spin. Spinala. All right. Excellent. We now have this new area. This is the first ever 2x2 chunk unlock for this account right now, which means that we can go stand in that little corner and not be restricted in any way. This is nice for a lot of reasons. Getting to the Lumbridge Swamp, I've had to like run outside the back of the castle all the way around the stupid fence and then get in here. Now I can just leave out the front door, and I think my life is going to be a lot better in that respect. So let me bring the task list back up, and let's look through what we can do here. One thing that we can do is go to Death's Domain now. This actually came up last episode in the context of dying in the Lumbridge Swamp Cave. Like, it was costing me 32 hit points to make it to my gravestone to get my candle back, And I was like, well, I could just go to Death's Domain and reclaim my graveyard or my gravestone immediately. But no, I couldn't because it wasn't in my chunk. Now that this is in my chunk, I can do that. So if I die, I'm just going to go get my stuff back instantly and be able to go back into the cave without losing a bunch of health. I think that makes... I kind of like did a scuffed Lumbridge swamp cave last episode because I had to keep dying and getting my stuff back, and taking damage from it being dark was miserable. I'm not going to have to do that anymore. I'm just going to get my stuff back here before I go back in. So go ahead and delete the note about Death's Office, but it's exciting to have that unlocked here. I am going to go ahead and do Mistal and Mystery, but let me kind of survey the area in general. I think we'll try to chop all the trees first. It's so nice to have a chunk with sparse trees. Every chunk that I unlock has like 60 plus trees in it. This one's just a modest 14. It's not too bad. Oh my god. Check this out. I'm missing 2 trees. There should be a regular tree and a dead tree in this chunk. Where are they? Well, they're back here, and it gets better. You can't path along the beach here. In order to get there, you have to go through the church and go around the back to hit these 2 trees. I really have to wonder how many times those 2 trees have ever been chopped. Like, I know I keep saying that, like, not a lot of players have done this, but I really wonder... This might be fewer than 100 times ever that these 2 trees have been chopped. It's kind of amazing, actually. I thought for a second they might just be there as, like, decoration, but no, you can reach them. You can chop them. All right, trees taken care of. As I walk my way back, I'm going to fletch these. And I guess we'll do mining and fishing next. While I was fletching, I hit fletching level 20. Make oak short bows. Okay, thank God there are 5 nodes here. There's only 2 nodes over in Draenor Village. I overfished by 1 step last time. I just like caught 2 back to back, so I'm going to make up for that in Draenor rather than here. I just need to be extra careful to click off as soon as I see the XP drop. Oh, there's fishing 14. I think 1 more level and we can get new things, but we have to have a fishing rod first, which I do not have. That's my first actual fishing level from fishing as opposed to the Evil Bob random event. All right, and then we have 5 copper and 5 tin here, which is nice. I think we're still balanced towards tin. We might be actually getting slightly more copper than tin at the moment, but we have a lot of extra tin from rolling chunks that had tin early. All right, that's all for the mine. Got that marked off here. I guess I'm going to work on slaying these things. Kill some of the rats first so I can make a dent in the inventory space all of their meat's going to take up. Oh, it's my first time getting the Leo random event. It's been so long since I've done this random event. I completely forgot how it works. I think I get it. It's like each of the coffins tells you where they should be buried because it's like the profession or something when you look on the gravestones. So like this one is a chef, I think is what that's supposed to be. So one of these should have... Okay. So this guy goes here. Okay, got it. What's my reward? Zombie dance emote. Nice. All right, 46 strength. I think I need 1 more to switch to attack without losing a max hit. I missed it. 40 hit points. That's a pretty good threshold. Should now be a high enough combat level, yeah, that I won't get aggroed by the cave crawlers. So, doesn't quite solve the Lumbridge swamp cave problem, but it should make it a little bit more tolerable. Right, so you might be wondering, I thought you always did the most recent chunk first. The reason I'm dipping into Lumbridge Swamp West is just because there's so much bleed on the east and west sides in terms of the enemies. So if I just kill all of the frogs and all of the rats in both chunks, it should be pretty clear that I'm actually done with both of them, which is what I would like. By the way, the chunk picker tells me, this is really cool, that chunk picker v2 is one of the best pieces of like fan created software I've ever seen. It tells you your clue chance, and it looks like for a beginner clue I have an 8.13% chance to complete any clue that drops from the moment it drops. So I guess that makes me feel a little bit better. It's certainly a lower chance than I was expecting. I thought it would be quite higher than that, but still doesn't feel super great. Here's my Lumbridge imp. I'm gonna go kill it real quick. Hey, I one-shot an imp, that's the first. Grain, damn it, stop it. It's teasing me. Here's a challenge for you. Can you spot the 1 regular frog that I haven't killed? And try using tag all, untag all to see if I see it flash. It's probably in the other section. I'm also missing a single Big frog. Big frogs are easier to spot. The tiny frogs are very small, though. Oh, well, you probably saw that my cat walked across my keyboard. I accidentally clicked this guy. So we'll just call the little frogs fungible. But I still have to find a big frog, so I'm going to try to find that. If I find the little frog that I missed, I'll just tag it. Oh, let me show you the live split timer, by the way. This is just for the swamp. So about 47 minutes to do everything on both sides of the swamp. Not including Mistle and Mysteries, of course. Or any of the wood chopping. That's really, on this side of the swamp, it's just killing frogs. Dude, where's... Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. Okay, I can't attack it, though, because I just attacked the wrong one. So that one is tagged to make up for me accidentally killing the one over here. Jesus Christ. Okay, let me try to find the missing big frog. Finally found it. It was all the way on the edge over here, blending in pretty well with the ground. So let's go ahead and mark all these done now. Big frog, frog. I think I have enough inventory space to go ahead and do Mistle and Mystery now. Let me check it again. Okay, I'm going to do this quest. I don't think I'm going to record quests for the most part, unless there's something funny or interesting happens. I'll record me starting them, and I'll record the rewards screen. Hopefully I will see you in a few seconds once I get the reward. All right, never mind. I already have something to say. I forgot which quest this was. This is a really weird quest. Like, I think what happened with this one was this was just a funny, like, Scream-inspired Halloween event, and then they did a poll to add it permanently to the game. I think that's fine. Like, I think it would be cool if there were a bunch of not Halloween, but holiday events added to the game permanently. It feels extremely strange to me that there's only one holiday event, and it's this one. Oh god, the Bandos Godsword in there is triggering my notifications. Okay, so this quest is a good quest to be doing first, because are you ready to be terrified? Chop down tree. I'm probably not going to edit this a whole bunch. Well, there's so many trees in the background that are technically choppable. You think you can get to those? Hold on, I want to see this. Can I go around and get to all those trees on the outside of the island? That's honestly kind of comical. Oh, thank God, I can't get back to that. That would make things worse. I'm actually curious how many missions are like this. I bet there's a lot of quest instances that have trees in them. Like, was it rat catchers? Whatever the one is where you have to go spying in a mansion and sneak around some guards that everybody hates. I bet there's a bunch of trees in there too. I kind of like this boss fight. Like, it's extremely silly to me. Like, you're going to reflect the knife with a mirror? Okay. There is the quest completion. You've completed Mistle and Mystery. We get a quest point, 600 crafting XP, a ruby, emerald, and sapphire, and then there's our first ever quest completion. Fantastic. And as expected, we got to level 9 crafting from that. So we need a little bit more XP to get to 10. I think I might still have wool in the bank from last cycle. I have 20 wool in the bank. Yeah, so I'm going to be able to just barely hit 10 crafting. I might go ahead and do that. I like getting the sheep shearing out of the way anyway, just because I don't like having to remember to have the shears on me. Crafting is now level 9. You can now make leather cowls, if only. Okay, folks, I stopped recording and have been staring at the screen for about 10 minutes and discussing with my advisors who are giving me feedback on the series, Troc, Game Saucer, and Chaos Factor. And here's why. I could take this boat back. This isn't listed on the chunk picker as a sub-connected area, but this is a sub-area, and it has its own chunk ID. It's chunk ID 6475 for this quest. Now, mercifully, I can't get to all the trees beyond the edges of the beach here. But I can get to all these trees, and this is an accessible area from the chunk that I'm in. Do I chop all of these trees in this ridiculous quest instance that I can return to? Like, I was at least hoping that, well, I can't come back here, but no, I can come back here every cycle, technically. Okay, so here's my ruling after discussing with my advisors. I think this is fair, and I think it's possible that this may have already been understood this way from the way I previously stated the rules, but I'll make them explicit now because they haven't mattered up until this point. I haven't yet cleared a chunk, as in done everything possible in a chunk. I've come close, but it hasn't quite happened yet. But my rule was, if I clear a chunk the content in that chunk becomes optional. And on the cycle in which I clear it, I have to do everything in it. That's the way it's always worked. I said that back in episode 1. What is ambiguous about that statement was, do the underground areas and subchunks associated with the surface area, do those clear independent of the surface area, or are they connected to the surface area? And I think, honestly, it's better for the playthrough, and it's more consistent to say that each underground area tracks separately, or subchunk area or quest area like this one, right? Like this whole area has its own chunk, it's its own zone. If I can clear this zone once, and I will have to clear it, I am going to chop all these trees, goddammit. Like this will happen one time. If I can do it once, then it's done and I don't have to come back to it. And the same will apply to other sub areas like Puro. So you can clear an underground area and be done with it, which means technically I have cleared the Draenor sewers, or I could clear. I haven't killed the rats there, but I could go there this cycle, kill the 4 skeletons, kill the 7 zombies, kill the 10 rats, and say I'm not going to do the Draenor sewers anymore. I'm not going to do that because I actually want the drops from the skeletons and the zombies, but that's kind of the implication of the rule as clarified. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm going to go grab an axe, and we're going to be at this for a minute. I'm going to put on the live split timer for this so that you can see how much time it's taking every time I come back online here. All right, chopping my first tree here. I had this hope that I was going to come here. I was going to go through all that rigmarole, all that ranting, walk in here, click on the tree, and have it say, you don't feel like this is appropriate, or give me some kind of like quest indicator that I'm not actually allowed to chop these. No, I can totally chop them. I can totally chop them. There's nothing stopping me from doing it. Let me be 100% positive that I can't go around the back here. Okay, I cannot. Thank God, because it's way worse back there. I should try to make a count. Okay, there's a lot of these trees that I can't get to. I'll just mark those. I should try to make a count of how many logs this ends up being, because I guess I can end up comparing it to the Ham Hideout chunk, which currently has the most trees of any chunk I've unlocked. Okay, this is promising. A good chunk of these trees are literally not reachable. Like, I can't even get to this one, for example. So maybe I was losing my shit for nothing. Maybe this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Yeah, I can't even get back there to get to most of those trees. Okay. All right, this might actually be fine. This area is actually extremely buggy, and there's like 4 trees that are placed in the same area, and you can't possibly click them all correctly in order to be able to interact with and mark them. So I had to chop this one a second time in order to get to this one so I could mark it. And if you try to chop that one while that one's still up, if they're both up at the same time, it will automatically chop the one in the back. It's super janky. Because I had to chop one twice, I'm just gonna mark one of these. Okay, fortunately, this barrel blocks me from going back here. Yeah, this place is janky as hell. Like, they just kind of copy-pasted the trees without consideration for whether... I guess they never assumed that anyone would ever woodcut here. Woodcutting 49. Yeah, they had no idea anyone was actually going to woodcut here. And so they placed the trees in such a way that you can't even click, like, a good chunk of them because they're on top of other trees. So there are 56 trees in here, including the janky ones that are on top of each other. I still stand behind my rule clarification. I still think it's a good idea for this playthrough if the ability to skip chunks that have been cleared applies individually to underground areas and sub-chunks. So I'm going to keep that rule, and I am going to go ahead and use that rule to skip this chunk. I could do this chunk. This is 56 is fewer than what's in Draenor, and the number of trees on the surface isn't too bad for Lumbridge East. It's like 16 trees or something like that. So I could do this, but I'm going to choose not to do this. Not because this one is particularly brutal, but because I want to future-proof this account and set your expectations appropriately. But yeah, they did not design this place for actual people to go to. There's a tree over here that I would love to mark. It's one that I chopped. It's the one in the foreground here, right? But I literally can't touch it. I can't highlight it because these other 2 trees have been haphazardly pasted on top of it, and they need to be cut first before you can reach it. I don't think anyone's ever chopped the trees near it before. I'm sure one of those trees that I just chopped, I was the only person to ever chop it. So I'm going to go to Varrock so I can spend my money on buying more mind runes, but I'm also just going to go ahead and finish Varrock while I'm there since it's pretty easy. Let me remove natural history quiz since we can't do that again. Okie dokie, I'm here in Varrock, murdering people and picking their pockets. Stuck looking for the last man. It's like, oh right, he's up here. Getting my third lit candle over here. That remains very exciting. Oh man, I just got PK'd. I'm gonna try to go back and get my stuff here, assuming that they left it on the ground. Although it's possible they had loot keys, in which case I'm fucked. Might have to go look at the VOD to figure out what I had on me. Don't think I had too much. It looks like I kept the adamant sword, which is probably the most important thing. Since I have the other players hidden, I just started taking like 20 damage per hit. I had no idea what was happening. Alright, I gotta go back to a PvP world to check my gravestone here. It looks like they took none of it? Okay, thank God. Okay, phew, that was a pretty close call there. The Barbarian and Johnny the Beard are dead. There they are, Barbarian, Johnny the Beard. I've chopped all the trees. I might double check the item spawns, but I think the candle is the only one I particularly care about. Alright, so I am manually keeping track of mind runes purchased here. So I bought 3 of these last time. I think I'm going to buy 3 again. So far we bought 6 out of 40. I'm going to be cheeky and move the PvP skull so that it's above my head. I have no reason to spend any time on these worlds. It's not directly at the bank chest, so that'll make it so it's harder for me to accidentally hop forgetting that I'm on here. So I worked through about half of my mind runes here. I think I'm going to go try to kill those giant frogs. Okay, I'm down here. Probably should have brought some baked potatoes with me in case I get blown up. It's nice to not have the cave crawlers aggro me anymore. I did not succeed at crossing the stepping stone either time. I might need to study how the exploding candle thing works. It feels like it happens consistently in certain areas. I've noticed little things that say swamp gas in the cave, so maybe it's just there's like certain tiles that if you stand on them it will explode every time. This is maybe possible then. It's going to be very slow. Probably gonna end up using all of my runes to kill this. That's magic level 20. Cool. Well, I was definitely right about using all of my runes to kill one of these, but it was actually AFK. I wanted to spend 300 runes on one of them. I'm actually trying to get a kill here. Oh my god, please hit it a couple more times in 20 mind runes. If I run out of runes and have to like go whack it with my staff, I'm gonna cry. Okay, there it goes. Giant frog legs. And big bones. Yeah, I will not be able to do more than one of those. That was particularly brutal. And I failed both agility hops. Womp womp. Okie dokie, I got to do my little proof of concept there. Cost 140 runes, but it's cool. We got magic levels out of it. Probably could have used it a little bit more efficiently on goblins, but it was worth finding out. Rather know than not know. Hey, good morning. I took a pretty long break here. And by long break, I mean one day, because I spent almost all of yesterday editing an episode. So it's quite a bit more work than my previous series. A big part of the problem is I don't have access to anything that's AFK. Usually I would still be playing the game. I would just go like fish or something while I was editing. Since I was already almost done with Lumbridge Swamp West, I went ahead and finished chopping all the trees. As you can see here, all my tags are gone, and that's because green light went down. So it's a good thing I kept track of this externally. I could go back and manually tag all the stuff that I already killed, but I'm not going to worry about it too much for chunks that I've already cleared. I think I'm going to start ranged training, which is going to require me to finish getting to 10 crafting to make the bronze crossbow. So I'm going to do that real quick, go make a bronze crossbow and try to burn through some of my bolts. Just to make this pretty slow, but if I'm going to do it, I should do it on the goblins. To get my crafting up, I'm going to have to shear these sheep, so I'm going to get that out of the way real quick. All right, here comes level 10 crafting. Actually really exciting to me that this happened to work out almost perfectly. That last cycle I got to like level 6, and then Mistle and Mystery just barely got me there. I think I have an extra like 16 wool in the bank or something. That's after shearing this cycle, so I should just barely be able to make a crossbow string now. We'll see. I'm probably going to switch off the bolts at some point, but this is mostly to burn through my 454 bronze bolts. I'm going to use those to finish up the goblins over here. I haven't planted my barley yet. This is the last of my barley seeds, so I'm going to go check out all of the farming patches and buy out all the compost and plant cure. All right, went on my tour, got my plant cures and my compost, planted the barley, let that run since it's protected. I'm using the bronze crossbow. I tried it out for a little bit. It's really inaccurate at the moment on goblins, so hopefully after I pick up a couple levels, it'll start hitting a little bit more often. I'm guessing the inaccuracy is just because my max hit is 1. When I am hitting, I'm still hitting a 0 because I'm rolling a 0. Sit level 5 ranged finally, which I think increases my max hit to 2, which should help a bit. I have a bit of a DPS problem at the moment. Yeah, it's only a few goblins after that, but this is way better with the max hit of 2. Again, it's less so you can hit for 2, it's more so there's another number you can roll that's not 0. Obviously, that's the most impactful when you go to a max hit of 1 to 2. I need 9 more range levels to get a max hit of 3, and Prayer's not really doing me any good at the moment. Got a beginner clue scroll here. I'm very jaded about these. Oh, Hans. Alright, I'll go do that real quick. Come on, just be a one-stepper. Just let me complete a clue, please. Come on, Hans. No! Hey, it's Lumbridge! Oh my god, I'm gonna finish a clue. It's only 2 days and 14 hours, but we will have done a clue. Right, for all this sadness about not being able to do clue scrolls, beginner clue caskets are absolute garbage. Basically, very little to hope for at the moment. Previously, the really exciting drop would have been an air staff, but we already got that. So I'm not really going to hold my breath on getting something amazing. First ever clue casket on the account. What do we got? I don't know what that is. Oak longbow. Well, yeah, that's pretty bad. We tried. It'll show up on the high scores if someone's stalking the account. Like, man, why does this guy only have level 8 farming and nothing else? Well, that's why. All right, I'm about done with the Lumbridge goblins. I got one more to kill over in there. I'm gonna go ahead and kill, I think this is the Alcarid imp over here. Let me make sure I mark that before I forget. Ball of wool. No, thank you. I think I'm gonna try to do all mining things at once, regardless, and clear any chunks that are in the mines. So I think I'll do East Varrock Mine, the Southwest Varrock Mine, and the Alcarid Mine, and probably North Alcarid all at the same time, and then we'll pick back up probably from Draenor from there. About to hit level 14 mining, which is exciting because it puts me 1 level away from being able to mine for iron. Yeah. I can do Baronite if I'm able to unlock that chunk. Oh, hey, Dr. Jekyll. I think if I talk to a bank, he despawns. So it just gives me some strength potion. Okay. Alright, harvesting this barley, which may get us a farming level up. Farming level 9. Grow Guam. Okay. I only have enough compost. There are 4 compost buckets that I picked up, and I had to use 3 of them to protect the barley. So since I can't put compost on the Asgardian hops, I'm just going to skip it for today, because this is the end of my barley anyway. And then tomorrow I'll do Asgardian hops and Hammerstone, and I think I'll be done with Hammerstone after that. All right, this is about to be one of the hypest moments in the playthrough for me so far. I made a video essay about why I really like this game, and one of the things I get into is this idea of breakpoints, that you pass some level threshold and the game just completely changes. Like Swampletics, this changes everything thing, right? So this farmer, when I pickpocket him, is going to get me to 15 thieving, and it's taken me, God, 2 days and 15 hours to get to 15 thieving. And who cares? Well, my second ever chunk unlock was the ham hideout, and I wasn't able to do anything about the female ham followers down there, but now we can. Significantly more thieving XP per day. Instead of getting like 200 some thieving XP, I should be getting maybe double that. And they have a pretty interesting thieving drop table, so super exciting stuff. I can't think of any other skills on the docket that are going to hit a really crazy breakpoint like that. I guess mining getting to 15, which I think we're unfortunately going to become just shy of today. That'll be a pretty big deal, because then we'll be able to do iron at all of the, I think almost all of the mining places we have some iron at them. That'll increase our XP pretty significantly. This thieving one has been huge just because I've been sitting on that chunk for so long, and there's finally an extra task I can do there. Got an imp up here to kill. Pot of flour? More burnt bread. I'm going to try to get in the habit of showing you visually my progress here. So chunks that have a red square around them are not yet complete. Alcarid Mine and Alcarid are done. East Varrock Mine is done. Varrock is done. The entire swamp is done except for the swamp caves. I can't mark that separately because there's just technically a separate chunk ID for that. Still have to do Draenor, Ham Hideout, Lumbridge. I'm going to go work on the cow pen now just so that I can babysit this patch. Champions Guild, Varrock South. Back on it. Oh, and time so far, we're about almost 4 hours in. So at level 10 ranged, I think my objective is to try to get to 20. Obviously, only on the enemies that I can reliably hit with the crossbow. So that's cows, chickens, goblins, maybe giant rats, maybe the frogs in Lumbridge Swamp, although mercifully I'm done with those in this cycle already. Yeah, once I get to 20, I can use a willow shortbow, which I can't craft yet. I need to get a beekeeper random so I can get some flax so I can make bowstrings. I haven't gotten one yet. All right, looks like my hammerstone's ready to harvest. We'll be pretty close to level 10 farming for next episode. I'm thinking about the Lumbridge Swamp Caves, and I wanted to research exactly how these swamp gas explosions work, since they seem to always trigger in the same areas. And in fact, they do. There are 2 areas where you will constantly get blown up. And I think it's possible to avoid both of them. There might be some enemies in there, like a handful of big frogs or cave bugs. But I might be able to bring a crossbow to pull them out of those regions. When I go there later this episode, I'll put floor tiles down so I can keep track of which areas trigger gas explosions, and it looks like it's possible to just avoid them. You can traverse the whole cave without dealing with them if you want to. Got my imp from this chunk. Come on, pot of flour. Pot of flour! Oh my god, it happened. Oh, that's so hype. I got it. Now I'm gonna roll the mill chunk, aren't I? Dude, yes. Okay. I'm not gonna say this changes everything, but now we can do Cook's Assistant in Lumbridge, which is gonna let us unlock the Lumbridge range, which is an increased cook chance on a bunch of different foods that I've been saving. Basically all of the beef that we've saved, I've been waiting to use it there. So I might do some cooking training this episode. I'm going to wait to turn any of that stuff in, like Cook's Assistant, until after the update, though. I'm just going to keep trying to take out these goblins while I can. How many imps did it take us to get that stupid drop? This is lifetime imps here. 53 imps. I think that makes us done with imps in terms of being excited about their drop table, since we already have all of their beads. Next time I see one, I'll look up the drop table so I can show you and we can scroll through it. Obviously, I'm going to continue to kill all the imps because, that's the rules of Bonfire Man mode, but I don't think I'm going to record every imp kill from now on. Still, that was really exciting. I wonder what other drops are going to be like that, where there's only going to be a very limited number of enemies and I can only get to kill like 1 or 2 per cycle, and I'm really praying for some kind of special drop to do a quest or something similar. Good shit. Range levels keep coming in. It's hard for me to track it because I miss so often. But 14 range, the reason I'm bothering announcing that is because now I have a max hit of 3 with ranged. So this has been pretty terrible. It should be quite a bit less terrible now. And there's my max hit of 3. Beautiful. I always love when my goblin count is exactly right. I do about 79 goblins now. Well, 79 is the number of spawns I expect across all chunks. So I've killed 75 so far, and I can see 4 from here. I guess technically I can see an extra one that just crossed a chunk boundary. But it's always nice to see that I'm going to finish off the count and not have to like run around the map like a chicken with my head cut off trying to find the last goblin that I left behind. We got about 8 minutes to the system update here, so I'm going to try to do something that's not killing things once this is done. Yeah, there was 1 goblin that crossed the chunk boundary there, so I have 80 rather than 79 kills. I think I'm done with ranged training for this cycle, just because I've run out of low combat, low defense enemies. Next cycle, I'll probably end up finishing getting ranged 20. We got it to 15 here. All right, back from the system update. Lost all of my XP tracker and mob tags, obviously. I'm going to go fish my single allowed shrimp here, since I overfished last time. Almost double fished again, but okay. That makes up for getting too many shrimp yesterday. Going to start with the Draenor sewers over here. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and kill all of the rats down here. If I kill all these rats, then I'm actually done with the Draenor sewers and consider this a completed chunk for the future. I'm going to start to label completed chunks. I'll put like a star next to the number or something like that. This is probably one that I'm still going to kill these every time because they have interesting drops, but may as well start. Actually trying to mark things as complete. I'm going to try using a check mark instead of an asterisk. I don't know if it's going to survive import and export since other emojis didn't, but this is a pretty old ASCII character, so it might work. Yeah, so if I can, I'll use a check mark. Otherwise, I'll put a star there to mean this chunk is complete and therefore optional on future cycles. In order to earn this, I actually have to kill the rats, so I'm going to start clicking them as well. Let me untag them so I can keep track of which rats there are to kill. And I'm getting aggroed by a respawn zombie that I already killed, so let me try to get away from him there. Okay, there we go. All right, the zombies and skeletons are dead. I just have these last couple of rats, and then we will consider the Draenor sewers complete. And I'll have earned that check mark that I put on there preemptively. All right. Maybe put some kind of thing on the screen there. Great enemy felled, that kind of shit. Chunk completed. That was our shit. I'm gonna, god damn it. I was trying to do something dramatic there, Mr. Zombie. Chunk completed. Cool. Actually, for real completed is now optional. I'm gonna delete the critter task again. Probably will still do this every single cycle for a very long time, since everything in here is on the rare has the rare drop table. There's 47 strength, which is an important level because I think that means I can switch from strength to attack. Yes, without losing a max hit. Perfect. So I'm going to catch my attack up to my strength. It'll be 40 as my objective for attack now, from 36. Okay, I've killed everything in the outside the Ham hideout area and in Draenor. Yeah, so I'm going to work on all of the trees in this area. So these trees and the Ham hideout trees, since they're right next to each other. Then I'll probably pop down to do Ham guards and, very excitingly, pickpocket these 10 Ham members down there. Pillory guard again. 640 coins. A pretty significant amount of my income has come from random events. It's pretty good too. That's almost 2 Mind Rune packs. So that'll fund my magic trading for next cycle. All right, South Draenor looks like it's complete. Did all of the trees, and I can't do any of these steals yet. So now we're just doing the trees in the Ham hideout area since it's right here. Oh, I missed one tree. It's very common that I'll announce that I'm done, and then as I'm announcing it, notice that I missed exactly one thing. 50 wood cutting. Oh yeah, 50 wood cutting. That's cool. Does that? I don't know if that actually unlocks any new trees for me. Does it? Mahogany trees. Yews are the big one. We're not even halfway to yews. We'll be halfway there at, I think, 53. It looks like all the Ham hideout trees are done. This continues to be very impressive. I guess Ham hideout is one that once I get to 60 wood cutting, the surface part is going to be done. So I could skip all these trees finally, which would be amazing. I would basically just come here to chop the yew tree, I think. All right, I'm going to try to restart RuneLite really quick to see if it fixes the aggregator from chat filter. I really enjoy that feature. I forgot that that's not default. All right, let's go do the Ham hideout. We're going to kill 22 guards, and now we also need to pick the pockets of 10 Ham females. So, all right, here is our first ever pickpocket of a Ham member, for which I am quite excited. 19 thieving XP. That is so much XP. Probably doesn't sound like that's a lot of XP, but trust me, that is a absolute shitload of XP. Oh shit. Okay, I can't wait to get to level 20 so I can just more clearly tell which ones I can pickpocket. I can't like tag all of the men because it also automatically tags all of the women. Yeah, so I think being able to pickpocket them basically doubles the amount of XP I can get for thieving per cycle now. It's still a pretty low amount since I can only pickpocket them once, but getting to 20 should happen now without too much trouble. It looks like restarting RuneLite fixed the chat aggregator and the notifications. I just got a notification that I'm about to hit level 37 attack. There it is, level 37 attack. Can keep going until 40. Oh, I got caught pickpocketing. Didn't kick me out though, just put me in the jail. Which I think this also gives a small amount of thieving XP. I'm not sure. And I got kicked out of the Ham storeroom with like 2 kills to go. 2 more pickpockets to go. I'm gonna go ahead and bank all this stuff really quick. I was really pushing it with inventory space anyway. I'm gonna save these damaged armors, and you'd be like, why are you bothering with those? But you can technically, once you have an armor stand in your POH, which I'm not gonna have for like 1,000 hours, you can technically repair them, granting a small amount of smithing XP, and also turning them into a random plate body, which you can sell or alch for money, so. I gotta bank everything. Hey, that's a pretty high pull. We got the Ham logo. So we now finally have a full Ham set. We still need to make it a second set, so I think I need a hood, a second cape, and a second logo here, but still, very, very cool stuff. One more member to pickpocket here, and then we're done with this new task. Hoping I don't get kicked out before I get the last pickpocket in here. Next up, Let me go ahead and mark this place complete. We have to cut some trees in the cow pen. I have to cut some trees and do dark wizards and all that stuff over here in Varrock South. Trees to cut in the Champions Guild. Trees to cut in Lumbridge, and I have to like pickpocket men and kill them and women. But the big one, of course, is going to be the Lumbridge Swamp Cave, which I'm going to start closing on so I have as high a stats as possible when I head there. Yeah, away we go. All right, I think I'm done with trees in Lumbridge. The goblins they got reset by the update today. Hit points 41. It's got thieving 16. So yeah, I think it's only going to be 2, maybe 3 more cycles until we get to level 20 thieving. All right, all pickpocketing is done. Lumbridge is now done. We're wrapping things up here. Here's the live split timer if you're curious. About 6 hours in. So I might beat the last time if I don't get stuck in the Lumbridge Swamp Cave dying for 90 minutes. But there's still a significant number of trees that I have to chop up through here, so I'm going to go do that now. Remember now that I have to grab this weapons store key every time I'm here so that I can kill the weapons master, who is a respawning NPC. It's cool. I'll do it every time. I think he only drops bones, but it's exhausting to chunk, you know? I'm not going to bother picking up any of these items. Maybe the iron dagger. I can sell that to a shop for like 10 gold or something, but... Oh, I found the imp. There it is. It's our last one. For today. Yeah, that's right. It's number 7. I get 7 per cycle right now. Are you kidding me? Okay. Of course I got a second pot of flour. That might actually be a good thing, because I might need a pot of flour for another quest. I don't think it's just Cook's Assistant, but probably not going to be for a while, and I'll probably have access to flour more easily by the time that matters. But I'll take it, and that's probably going to be the last time that I bother reporting imp kills, because we've got everything that we care about from them. I'm rapidly approaching the end here. I got to kill these dark wizards. Then I think it's going to be time for the Lumbridge Swamp Cave. Also, I got to go do Cook's Assistant now that I have the flour. I added a task here so I wouldn't forget before the end of the episode. Okay, so I'm back in Lumbridge here. I still need to finish gathering all those potatoes. It's going to be one of the last things I do here. But while I'm in Lumbridge, I may as well do Cook's Assistant. So I'm going to do that real quick here. I need milk and an egg. And I think that's all I need. I don't remember if I also need, like, water or whatever. Oh, no, I literally just give him these 3 things. Okay. I wasn't sure if... I didn't remember if I had to actually bake the cake. Oh, look, I have the ingredients on me already. Hooray! You have completed Cook's Assistant. 1 quest point, 300 cooking XP, which was not enough for a level. But now I can use the cooking range, which is extremely exciting. I should try to start Recipe for Disaster. I don't know how that works, because I think if I even do a little bit of it, I can get the Culinarimancer's chest in the basement. It looks like I can start Recipe for Disaster, which is a requirement for me to clear the Lumbridge chunk. So I'm going to be killing these goblins for a very, 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 very long time. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do any of this. This is the help the cook at the beginning. I might be able to get an Eye of Newt. Green Man's Ale is not going to happen. I don't think a Rotten Tomato is going to happen. Oh no, I can get one in Varrock. I don't think I can get a Fruit Blast, though. Well, I'm going to close that out of the quest tracker, but one day I'll be able to do that and get a really convenient bank chest in here. Okay, that's all of the potatoes. We're down to our very last task, which is the Lumbridge Swamp Cave. I think it's going to be way less miserable this time, because now I know about the candle only erupting in specific regions. I'm going to mark all of those areas, and I'm going to bring some food with me. It's also going to be less miserable because the cave crawlers can't dagger me anymore like they could last cycle. So I think I still can't kill the giant frogs. Like, that's not going to happen. Their defense is too high, and I have to spend too much on mind runes for it to be possible. But it will be possible not too many cycles into the future, I think, as we continue to level up our combat here. I'm just showing that graphically that all of the chunks no longer have a red border around them. The only one that does is the underground. Oh, not that underground. Is it Misthalin underground? Yeah, this one here. And I can only associate one chunk, but technically both of these chunks are considered part of the swamp cave. And to that end, based on my comment that the underground and the surface count separately, this is all one chunk. Like, I already treat it as one chunk in the sense that I can visit both areas and I don't have to roll them separately, so I should also have to complete everything in both chunks underground in order to count as having completed it. Shit, I was pathing to the bank. I'd already clicked the bank booth. Freaky Forester spawned. I went over to hit record to interact, but then I got to the bank and it despawned the random event. I'm really glad that was a shitty random event that I don't care about and not a good one. I would have been really sad if that had been like a XP random or... Oh, I still haven't gotten a maze random on this account. Okay, I think I've marked one of the boundaries for an area where things explode, and as far as I can tell, the only enemies in there are cave slimes, which I can't fight yet. So I'm going to keep trying to mark all of these here. I ran past this wall beast correctly, and then I hit the cave bug that was standing here, and my character automatically pathed back onto the wall beast, so be careful with that in the future, I guess. Well, I just got my Eye of Newt drop from these guys. I can't get the rest of it. There's no way I'm going to get the Fruit Blast since I can't get to the Gnome Stronghold. But I suppose that's still pretty exciting. Oh, it's so much better to not have these crawlers aggroing me. They hit like trucks and the poison is like an instant death sentence, especially since I have no way of getting rid of it. And I'm pretty sure the only thing in the rooms of the swamp gas are the cave slimes, so I'll be safe from having to deal with that for quite a while because I think cave slimes are pretty high Slayer. Attack 38, 2 more to go. This is pretty cool. I didn't know this. Well, first of all, I didn't know that this dungeon had specified areas for candles to blow up because obviously I've never been in here without a better light source since it's always trivial to get better light sources. But this rune here marks the boundary of the location where your candle will explode. There's one of them here, there's one over on that wall over there, and there's 2 more over in the back. I don't even know if that's on the wiki. It just shows what the areas are. But yeah, there's a little rune on the wall that specifically tells you. There's another one across from it. Just have a couple frogs left to kill, and I think we're done in here. I might try fighting a giant frog, just because I haven't since last cycle, to see how it goes. All right, let's see how this goes here. If I get low on health, I'm just going to try to run away and go back over the agility. Oh yeah, I just got hit for an 8. Yeah, this ain't happening. I might need to wait until I have Protect from Melee, or just tons of runes, or really, really high range so I can safe spot them across the river here. I still haven't succeeded on this jump yet, so it's only ever 1 XP. I'm allowed to do things that provide XP on success repeatedly until I succeed. I think this has to be an exception, though, even though it's a really unfortunate exception, simply because it does give XP on failure, and it's one of the only agility shortcuts in the game that does. Later shortcuts do not. Well, we're getting there. I think I've earned about as much XP from these things now as a random event would give me. I think I got 15 from exam random. So yeah, I think we're done now. Killed the big frogs, killed the cave bugs, killed the cave goblins. So I'm about to head back and summarize the episode, and we'll roll our new chunk. All right, first things first, let's just validate that everything is done here. I can't chop the yew or fish in Lumbridge. I can't go in that part of the mine downstairs. Can't chop the yews in the ham hideout. Can't pickpocket the other people in the ham cult area. Can't mine this stuff in Lumbridge Swamp West or use the water altar. Can't fight cave crawlers or slimes. I can't deal with the giant frogs yet. Can't pickpocket. Oh, I did this, didn't I? Let me check my loot tracker. I'm pretty sure I did that and just didn't mark it. Farmer, 3 kills, 3 pickpockets. Okay, so yeah, that's confirmed. I just didn't mark it correctly. North Al-Kharid, I can't get in the fire altar. Varrock Southgate, I can't pickpocket the guards or chop the yew tree, and I'm just leaving the cabbages and nettles and stuff. Can't do anything in Puro Puro. There's nothing to do in the duel arena. Most of this is on the other side of the River Lum, but I did the stuff that I could do. Can't do Sour Hogs. Can't steal anything in South Draenor. This is our first complete chunk, the Draenor Sewers, but I probably won't ever skip it. Al-Kharid Mine, can't mine any of that. I'll be able to mine iron next time. Same with the East Varrock Mine. Varrock Square, I can't do any of these quests or this minigame. And Lumbridge Swamp East, I can't do the agility shortcuts, but I did everything else. And as a reminder, I don't have it listed here as a chunk, but I did in fact clear the Mistle and Mystery chunk of 56 dead trees, and there's nothing else there to do in terms of exhausting content. So the Mistle and Mystery sub-chunk of Lumbridge Swamp East is done, and let us not speak of it again. I'm not even going to put it in the tracker because I have no intention of returning there. I guess I'll if I have a completed chunk that I don't intend to return to, I'll delete it. Okay, XP, I can't show you the tracker, unfortunately. The server restart and a couple other restarts made me lose most of the XP data, but you can see my total levels down here in the bottom right corner. Making some good progress. Like I said, we're only going to get like one wood cutting level per cycle now. It's starting to slow down a lot. Other stats are looking pretty solid, though. We should get attack to 40 next episode, and then I'll go back to alternating strength and attack until we get a new max hit. Big thing to look forward to is mining 15. That should happen pretty early next episode, which will let us mine lots and lots of iron ore nodes all around the game that we until now won't have access to. Prayer is slowly climbing its way up there. I have a decent amount of bones still in the bank, the off chance I ever start inching closer to an altar to use them at, but if at any point I look at my banked XP plugin and this states that I have enough banked XP, let me hide the unsold heads since I can't use those. If at any point this says I have enough potential XP in the bank in order to hit a level that would give us a protect prayer, then I'll go ahead and burn them. But until it would get us to a prayer, I don't particularly care about unlocking any of these other ones earlier. Loot tracker. So I would like to go ahead and do my normal sanity check to ensure that I have the right totals. I've been doing that at the end of every episode, but I haven't been recording it. I guess it's pretty boring to record, because to record it, I have to show you every single NPC and then compare it to the spreadsheet. So maybe I'll put a link to the spreadsheet in one of these episodes at some point so you can validate it for yourself if you're interested. But we want to look at today's loot, so I'll scroll through this pretty slowly here. All these numbers look right. The cave bug count is way down because I got like 10 kills that had no drop, and those don't get logged. Muggers, I made a mistake here. I noticed this a little bit ago. There's only 3 muggers in my available chunks, and I must have double killed one, probably due to the loss of tag when the server restarted, and I just hadn't marked that task as complete. So I'll make up for that next cycle by killing one fewer mugger. Everything else on this list I think is fine. Let me double check thief. Is that right? Are there 2 thieves now? No, I made the exact same mistake with the thief. Okay, I know exactly what this was. This is the thief and the mugger that spawn in South Varrock. Because I started in the Varrock chunk, or I did that very early, I knocked those out really early, and I must not have put it as a task completion, so I just did them again in error. So yeah, we'll skip the thief next cycle, and we'll skip the mugger in South Varrock. Men, I got 2 extra men than are typically usually available because they wander in on the Al-Kharid chunk. Women, first time pickpocketing ham members. The rest of these counts look good. Goblins are 1 high because of one wandering out of its chunk. And next time we have to test to see, I suspect that the wiki might be incorrect about the giant rat count. So we'll see if we have the exact same problem next time, and if so, I might issue an edit to the wiki on that subject. Here's the live split timer, which I can probably stop. It's probably more like 7 hours, 20 minutes. And the big difference there is I didn't spend 90 minutes dying in the Lumbridge swamp caves, because now I understand how they work. That was mostly a fact-finding thing, I guess. Like knowing which areas not to walk into because they make your candle explode, being a little bit more careful about marking all the tiles you have to run over to avoid the wall beasts. Yeah, knowing that I can't really deal with the giant frogs and that they're going to eliminate me really quickly, and being a higher combat level so that the cave crawlers can't aggro me, all contributed to the Lumbridge Swamp Cave taking like 20 minutes instead of like 90 minutes. So I think that that's going to be much cleaner in future cycles here. Last thing to show off is the bank. This is really working out. I'm really enjoying that by placing new items in the top tab, we can kind of summarize what was new this episode. So we got an uncut sapphire and ruby from a random event, giant frog legs from the one frog I was able to kill with magic, an oak longbow from beginner clue, that's right, an extra pot of flour, which I'll hold on to for a long time, the bronze crossbow we were finally able to make thanks to the XP from Mistle and Mystery, the ham logo. We now have 1 full ham outfit. We just need to get 1 more, so I need 1 more logo, 1 more cape, and 1 more helmet. An iron sword, which I want to say dropped from... It was either from the Black Knight or from one of the zombies. And it doesn't look like it's involved in any clue scrolls or anything, so I don't think it particularly matters. And an Eye of Newt. And I can see the basic bank totals. We've got pretty high food counts here, and I've been waiting to cook the chickens and the beef because I've been hoping for the range downstairs with Cook's Assistant, which we finally have. How many people haven't done Cook's Assistant for near on 36 hours of play? And by 36, I mean 72 almost. Food tab's looking good. A lot of goblin junk, which shouldn't be surprising that I might be able to cash in for money later. Building up copper and the tin stash. I might try to use that once it looks like it's going to get me somewhere interesting with smithing. I'm going to tend to save up resources for processing skills for a while rather than do them on an episode-to-episode basis. Unless if I know that using them is going to get us to some important threshold, I'm not really going to bother. We ran out of our barley seeds this episode, so we're down to just Asgarnian and Hammerstone, which I will use both of those next episode, and then we'll be out for a very long time. I won't be able to plant seeds and farming patches for some time, I think. Looks like that is everything. Okay, I think that means it's time to roll a new chunk. Let's look at the chunk picker. Okay, we effectively got an internal chunk last time, so no real changes in the rollable chunks, but I'll still go through and summarize my thoughts here. Alcarid, I would like to get the most. That would be my favored chunk by far, I think. I would also take North Varrock, would be maybe second most wanted. West Varrock would be cool. There's not a lot over there, but it gets me closer to more interesting tiles that I want. I'd love to get Port Sarim. I'm so sad about that Port Sarim incident. To that end, I basically need Draenor Village. So this is a crucial chunk. We need to turn this corner. It'll be a little bit easier for us to get over here once we turn this corner, but until we do, we desperately need to roll chunk 9, even though there's not a lot I can do there right now. Wizard's Tower, just to turn in Imp Catcher. I guess also I could turn in... I might be able to do Rune Mysteries now? I'm trying to think. I think I need Rune Mysteries. Yeah, I think I could do Rune Mysteries if I do that. Which then I can start collecting a very small amount of Pure Essence. Ooh, which is going to prompt a rule discussion, because the Rune Essence mine is a completable chunk by itself in that you can just mine each of the essences one time each. It doesn't ever deplete. Okay, yeah, this is going to require... Not that I know for sure that I'm going to roll the Wizard Tower. I probably am not, actually. But I'll just go ahead and put the idea that I'm thinking about for that. There are a handful of nodes that can be interacted with indefinitely that don't ever deplete. The other one is Karambwans that comes to mind, that I abused at great length in Leagues 3. And I don't think we want to be able to just use those indefinitely once their chunks are completed, just because they never deplete. So I think my ruling on that would be I'm allowed to fill up a single inventory at any node that doesn't deplete. So I'm best served going there with an empty inventory and getting 28 things, so 28 pure essence per rune pillar in there. So that's probably going to be the rule I go with. Hill Giants would be kind of boring, but at least it's got some Hill Giants. No Mage Training Arena, please. Exam Center is this is our skull tile. Unlike other chunk ban accounts, getting a dead tile here is really bad, because it's going to require me to spend like 8 hours getting the next tile. East Varrock is kind of a bummer tile, but it's good because it gets us closer to the Lumberyard, and I would love to start building towards Paterdomus. If we can get into Mauritania, I'm curious how many chunk accounts have even made it into Mauritania. You have to have a lot of things that line up for that to be possible. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Come on, Alcarid, that's what we want. Pick chunk. Fuck yeah, Alcarid. Yes. All right. That's sick. I'm stunned. I'm so happy. Let's look at what's over here really quick. 9 Alcarid warriors, 4 men. Yeah, it'll be nice for these men because they already wander over this chunk boundary, and I tend to hit 2 or 3 of them every cycle, so it would be good to just know that they're contained within here. Scorpion, NPCs. Most of these don't matter. Oh, can I do Sorceress's Garden? I can only run each one of them one time. I have to double check what the requirements are for that. I don't remember. There's a Body Rune, Bronze Mace. Yeah, not a lot in terms of item spawns. The shops are a huge deal. I can actually start crafting. I don't know if the Mithril Scimitar is better than the Adamant Sword. I expect that it's not. But I can get some gear upgrades here. I can also probably start Runecraft, sort of. I can make Runecraft tiaras because of the crafting store, I think. Fishing spots are good. We now have a total of 9 of those. There's a furnace, which is good. There's the Alcarid agility course, but I'm I'm hopefully going to unlock the Draenor one before that one. Prince Ali Rescue, Shadow of the Storm can be started here. So that raises the question, does unlocking this get me anything new? Prince Ali Rescue I can just do now. Okay. That's actually really good because then I don't have to pay the 10 GP fee to cross that gate anymore. And it's not a big deal, but it's somewhat significant given how much trouble I have with getting money. So yeah, we can do our second ever quest here, or I guess third ever quest since we did Cook's Assistant today. There's some clue steps, and we can go to the Sorceress's Garden. So sweet, yeah, this is really, really exciting. That was the chunk I wanted. I don't want to keep going into the desert now, though. No more desert chunks, please. Please, God, no. Let's just say Al-Kharid's the edge. No, these are rollable. If I get them, I have to go do them. Okay, yeah, so we got a hype episode next time. We unlocked a whole bunch of stuff. Crafting, I'm going to probably grind pretty hard. I'm going to burn through all of the cowhides we have in the bank and see how far we can take us. I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.